Hi, I'm Fred McNeil, and you're watching QAC TV 7. Thanks for being with us. The program you're watching today is Think Local. What we like to do is bring in people from the Queen Anne's community who I think are providing the community with some things that make it a little more interesting, and sometimes to simply help you. I'm delighted to have Rich Fisher with us. Rich, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
It's nice to have you in here that's not a day when it's not 99 degrees and 120% humidity.
Yeah.
Which is good. Now, Rich, before we start talking about this neat thing you have, Kent Island Online, I like the hats you wear. We've been talking off here. Give me a 20, start about 5 o'clock in the morning. Where is Rich Fisher at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Well, at 4 I wake up, and then I get to WRNR in Annapolis.
WRNR FM, okay.
Yep.
And you're doing
I'm doing the morning show right now until the regular person comes back, and otherwise then I do weekends and nights and just whenever they need me.
Okay. And when you say that, most people, that's a full-time job, just doing the morning show, okay?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And so you're running that, and then where do we go? So that's at the studio by 5?
Yeah, you're there by 5, set up, to kind of what they call show prep, so I have to find stuff interesting, or at least I think is interesting to talk about.
You do a very good job.
Well,
I listen to you every morning.
Cool, thank you.
I'm glad to have a little stability. I love knowing you're Mr. Stability right now.
I've been there forever, it seems. Yeah, at least in the mornings I've been there for about a month, but I honestly don't know how long that hat will be on, but but I will be at the station at some capacity on the air.
Great. So you leave Riva Road and head where?
DC, downtown.
And tell them what you got in the whole other life, which is just as interesting in DC.
I run a television studio it's in the United States Department of Commerce.
Okay.
And the Commerce Secretary, Office of Public Affairs, uses us for outreach. We have a satellite uplink and a little bit of web streaming and that kind of stuff, mainly satellite uplink. And the White House uses us as well, because surprisingly enough, the White House doesn't have an uplink.
He does. You have to do it from your place.
From my place.
Where is the Department of Commerce? Help us out.
It's on 14th in Pennsylvania.
Okay, right downtown. 2 blocks away from the White House.
Diagonally across from the White House.
Okay.
And it's the world's largest building with a Spanish tile roof. There's your factoid of the day.
Next time I go to D.C., I'm going to look for the Spanish. Now, you perk my interest here. How does the White House, explain the link with the White House. How does that work? What are you linking?
Oh, well, uplink, it's, we'll do what they call satellite media tour.
Okay.
And I'm sure you know, guys, what that is. It's, so the White House will say the president is going on travel to Lexington, Kentucky on Wednesday, say.
Okay.
So they'll call us up on Monday and say, hey, on Tuesday we want to bring Josh Earnest or some White House key person over, and we're going to be on a dozen stations in Kentucky to talk about the president's trip.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. They schedule the stations. I call each station up. So I book the satellite time and say, you're on Galaxy, whatever the name of the satellite is, the transponder, give them the technical information. I get the phone numbers back because the earpiece so he can hear them as it's all through phone. To get that, and then we just basically, it's pretty easy. Just kind of sit there with a camera and go from station to station, boom, 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 boom.
It's pretty easy, but you're doing it with the White House, the most powerful building in the world, so it's a lot of pressure and a lot of big jobs.
You can't mess up.
No,
that's the thing. It's it's always very important that in between stations, like microphones down, so they don't say something, But yeah, it's that hat that I wear.
All right, now, so you do that till about 5 p.m.?
About 5.
So 12 hours later, now we go back to Kent Island.
Go back to Kent Island.
And you have a daughter, am I correct?
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and
now that's the toughest job. I know you love it the most, but it's the toughest.
Honestly, it really is. And then I run, my websites, and I'm partnered with my friend Gina. We do a music festival, and I'm kind of busy right now, more than I've been in a long time. And I'm looking forward to a couple of those hats, maybe kind of
slowing down a little bit. Where'd you grow up? Are you Marylander, or did you grow up?
No, actually, I grew up on Eastern Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah, and I moved out of there. Went to San Diego for a radio job in the early '90s. And then came down here.
San Diego. Hey, I lived in Santa Barbara. Why did we leave the West Coast? I mean, it's beautiful.
Honestly, for me, I loved it, but I was working a million jobs because it was so expensive.
A house is $500,000, $1 million bucks, right?
I went into the radio station I worked at. It was a big station, and I go in there and
what station in San Diego?
KGB FM,
oh, sure.
A classic rock station.
Yes.
I go in there with my ratings book back then it was a book, with a ratings book and say, hey, my ratings went up, I want to raise, I was making like $10 an hour or something crazy, and in San Diego, right? So, and program director just kind of shook his head and went, no.
There's a line out the door of a million guys that want you
exactly what he said. Because there's a line out the door of a million people that would work for $1 less an hour. I'm like, how?
We had the same thing. I lived in Santa Barbara, and I reached a point knowing that I would never own a house in Santa Barbara.
Oh, yeah.
It was $1 million for a little bungalow in downtown Santa Barbara. So all of a sudden the Eastern Shore. So how'd you get here from
Well, that was the funny thing.
Okay.
Eastern Long Island, which people around here never, they always think of Long Island as, Buttafuoco-ville or,
Sure,
something like
sure,
that. But it's actually very rural. There's all
Yes.
vineyards out
Yes.
there and,
Beautiful.
So that's where I grew up. So when I got a job in D.C., my first job was at C-SPAN.
All right.
And, which was, but kind of boring.
Right from the station in San Diego to C-SPAN.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A couple little stops on the way.
Okay.
But that was the first big job I got. So I had to move down here. So I drew a 30-mile circle around D.C. and went Annapolis.
Okay.
And literally, that's how I found it.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
and then from there, it just when it was time to start buying, it was a lot less expensive. Plus, it looked where Eastern Shore looks a lot like where I grew up. So I was like, I felt like at home.
It was a rural area,
Just
yeah.
everything about it. The roads look the same, and everything. It just looks very much so like Shoreham, New York. So I was like, great.
This is home. This is home.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, how long with the federal government now? How long you been with the Department of?
Started at '99, so it's 15 years now.
Oh, Lord, you're halfway through.
I know.
I mean, it goes that quick. When your daughter's out of college, you can retire, right?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Now, Rich, okay, let's shift gears again. Ken Island Online. Now, everyone tells me that's the best website for information.
Thanks.
In terms of what's going on, what the issues are. How did that start? First of all, what is it about? If someone hasn't looked at it, what's it about?
It's part guide for the area. So like if you're looking to go out to eat tonight, what do we have? I don't know. Go there and you can scroll through the restaurants and something like that. It's also a guide for people that are not from here, that are day tripping, that kind of thing.
What to do on Ken Island?
What to do on Ken Island? Where's the beaches? Where's the hotels? That kind of thing. Weddings. If you're looking to get married, where is a good wedding venue? Also, is a forum on there, which is. It's been kind of the downside and the upside of the website.
Yeah.
So depending,
That's what makes it fun.
But that's what makes
Yeah,
it fun.
yeah.
So people go on there and either talk nicely or not so nicely about things in the area and that kind
The
of
hot
stuff.
topics.
Hot topics
Hot
of
topics.
the day, and it's most active when something bad's going on, like a
Sure,
storm or
sure.
something like that, or big developer coming to town, that kind of thing. And then we have social media that's tied to it. We've got a very active Facebook page. Pretty active Twitter page, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff too.
Now, is it just you, or is there a group of people? Whose idea and what originated?
It started with me, and
Okay.
after I left C-SPAN, I got a job at the Naval Academy,
Okay.
and I was doing TV for them. And I just
Now, how'd you go from radio to TV? Were you trained in it, or just?
Well, I was working at a radio station on Eastern Long Island, and they had a morning show that had a TV show on a public access station,
All right.
and they needed a camera guy, and I was doing overnights when I actually had overnight DJs. And they were, hey, Rich, can you hang out and at like 10 o'clock come over to East
Run a
Hampton
camera.
Cable and run a camera?
Yeah.
I'm like, I never did it. We'll train you. Great, I'll do
Okay.
it. And turned out there was 2 camera people. The other camera guy that was there worked at a UHF station on the island. And he was like, you're not bad. We're looking for a master control person. And that was it. That was
Raise
how
your
I-
hand.
Done.
Yeah.
Got in that way. So it was kind of a,
Okay.
and then ended up shifting focus because it just paid more, basically.
Sure.
TV pays better than radio.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, Ken Island Online, when I was working at the Naval Academy, I kind of bounced. I fell into a whole bunch of
Now,
jobs.
were you living there?
I was living here.
Oh, you living
I
on
was
Ken
living-
Island?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just moved here. And I wanted to figure out how to do a website, and the Naval Academy job was one of those jobs that it was a hurry up and wait job.
Sure.
So there were times when like the football team wasn't playing that I had like days and days of just nothing to do.
Then you did sport. You were hooked up with the NAAA.
NAAA,
Yeah,
we followed
okay.
the football team around and
All right.
shoot for the coach.
That
they
would've
could
been
play.
fun.
It was
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
but it wasn't all the time. So, but we were paid to be there, so I had to be
Sure.
there. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to do a website. And basically, it was just one great big long blue page that went on for miles, so I could figure out how to do.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I live on Ken Island. I'll do a webpage for Ken Island.
Sure.
And that's
Why
really,
not?
and all of a sudden, people started reading it and emailing me, can you add my business? Can you do this? And I'm like, really? People actually, okay, cool. And that's how it started.
Well, we've lived in Queen Anne's County for 36 years. Your website's doing what we need. The Record Observer and Bay Times do a great job, but there's really no WNR might say they are it, and WNEV. There's no media outlet here.
We're kind of in between
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Where, I started a Centerville side of the page, which is just
Right.
a mirror of Ken
Sure.
Island with some little focus in Centerville. I'd like to, a little short on time as you can tell, but I'd like to be able to build that too and really just
Okay.
kind of do Centerville, Ken Island, Graysonville, Queenstown, and that's it. You don't
Okay.
need to go any more than that. And that would be a focus, because this area does get a lot of tourism, and
Sure.
there's really no way. There's no way to get your word out of who you are. Not just that, even for locals, that are here.
It's tough for news. It's tough
Yeah.
for business. I grew up probably like you in the Washington, D.C. area, where we had like a WMAL radio with WTOP. You listen to the morning DJs, and they told you what was going on, what in schools, etc. We really don't have that. WCEI out of Easton, you guys do the best you can. But
this
there's
is
no
still
home.
in between.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny because where I grew up out on Eastern Long Island, we were in between. We didn't care about New York City. We were 100 miles from the city.
You're Long Island.
And we didn't, we didn't care about Connecticut. And most of our stations came from Connecticut, blasted across.
Yeah.
So our own stations had wimpy signals because they were in between everybody. So we really didn't have a voice there either. So when I moved here, that was similar too. And I figured, as it started progressing, the site started growing, I was like, I'll be, what the heck, it's be that voice. And it was nonprofit forever until, maybe 6 years ago or something.
I think, it's a great service because we don't, like I said, we don't. Who do you want? Here's your chance. We'll let you sell yourself a little bit. If they're out there watching and they say, Ken Island, first of all, how do they get on it? Just type in.
If you Google or Yahoo, Bing, or whatever you use, just Google Ken Island, we're probably the first thing that pops up.
Okay.
And one of the things that I kind of built by accident, but it was a good thing, was I built a brand. And I guess it's my media background. A lot of people build the site, like the domain name, .com, .whatever. There was a person, I don't know if it's even, there was a guy squatting on the .com, so I couldn't buy it. When the domain names first came out, people bought them
just
up in
bought them
droves.
all, Redskins, whatever.
And I didn't have any money, and I wasn't going to spend 20 grand or whatever it was he wanted for the squat name. So I was like, I'll just build a brand and put it on 100 domains. And so that's what I did. And like there's KenIslandOnline.com, KenIsland.org, KenIsland.cc, Discover. I don't even know what half of them are, quite honestly.
But you got them.
But I got them, and they all point to the same thing. And if you just Google, so the brand is Ken Island Online. As long as you remember that, that's what
You're home. You're home. Now, if they're out there watching, let's start with if I'm a business and I want to say, hey, wait a minute, does it cost me anything? How do I get on? What services do you have?
To be listed, when I first designed the site, I built it like the Yellow Pages, basically, because it's all I could figure out how to do.
Sure.
So it was, if you think of the Yellow Pages, they list everybody.
Okay.
But if you want that box ad, it costs extra. The website's basically the same thing. We'll list anybody. We'll get, Bob's Builders, 123 Harris Street, blah, blah, blah. If you want a big description and a picture of somebody building a house and all that kind of stuff, it's going to cost extra. And we're a lot cheaper.
You're a business, so you're selling your service.
Yeah, and we're a lot cheaper than a newspaper or anything like that because we don't really have any overhead. So it's it's an affordable way to get your message out. Plus, we get between 30 and 40,000 unique hits a month on this thing now, which blows me away.
Yeah, and if I'm a business, we're gonna do business, individuals, and then nonprofit. How about that? So if I'm a business, who do I contact, and how do I? Is there a place right on the website?
Yeah, just click on. There's a phone number on the bottom. Joel, who is the guy that I do this with now, I brought him. He was my competitor originally, and we kind of merged forces. And
can't beat him, join him, or something.
Yeah, and he was the guy that every town has that guy that sells coupons. He was the coupon guy.
Sure.
So he's he does all the sales and account rep and all that stuff for me, and I do all the content design, or try to do design, if you can call it that.
That's all right.
I'm still not great at it.
You're doing great. I like it. All right, so that's a business. How about if I'm a nonprofit? Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, schools. What do they do?
Anything they want is free.
Okay.
I run a nonprofit myself, so I know it's hard getting that out there. So if just email me. It's webmaster@kenisland.org. Just go on the website, you'll see it. Or go to our Facebook page, and you can, if you're a Facebook person, you can just message me that way, and whatever you have, we'll list for you. It's not a problem.
If a church or an organization has just contact you and you're in good shape.
Yeah, if they got you got a carnival coming up or something like that, or a pig roast or whatever, just contact us. We'll put it on there. We'll push it on our Facebook and whatever else.
Now here's the one. We'll save the best for last. If I'm an individual, I've got a burning issue. Tag burn it. Is there room for that, or what?
That would be the forum.
Okay, let's tell us about the famous forum. That's how my son first told me about Fred, Dad, you gotta read this man's forum. Go ahead, tell me about that.
Yeah, the forum was actually the very first thing on the webpage, and my initial intent for the forum was for people to just be like, attaboy on it. It's like, I just went to Queen Anne's TV, and it was great. I loved it.
I had a good time.
It kind of went the other way, where it was more like, I went there and the food was terrible and that kind of thing. But,
Well, they comment on, besides political issues, it's also...
It's little things.
Anything
Anything that just off your butt.
The Boston cream at Dunkin' Donuts is no good.
Exactly. So, but what's funny is at first, when we first started selling the website, trying to get advertisers on it, because it started getting expensive because it was big, a lot of the advertisers go on there and be like, we're getting beat up on your forum. I'm like, well, for the first person if you have a decent product, and someone posts that,
something's wrong
with Bob's Builder, you're going to have 20 people after that go, I love the place, and here's why. And actually, if you can get past that ego thing of like seeing that we don't like you at the first, and you're going to see 20 other ones saying that this is the best place on earth.
This is great.
And it actually helps you out. But you have to kind of get past that. Most of it took a little kind of educating people, and it went from a deterrent to something that's a plus. So much so that we've got other people copying our forum now and stuff like that because it works.
Severest form of flattery, right, is when they copy you. Right?
You know, I got a little annoyed at first, but but yeah, no, it's fine. And the forum is it's autopilot really.
Okay.
I have a bunch of people that have been on it forever that ask to be moderators. I'm like, sure, why not? And just do me a favor.
They try to keep a balance and keep it fair.
Keep it fair. If you can tell when somebody goes on and starts beating up on a business or something, usually it's a disgruntled employee or something like that. And it's pretty easy to spot. So if I can't be everywhere at once, if I don't delete that, be on there and delete it. That kind of thing.
Someone helps you.
So it is moderated.
How many do you have a feel for the number of people who are viewing it, or do you have subscribers as such or not?
Yeah. Well, the forum has. If you want to post on the forum, you have to be a member.
Okay.
And I don't know. I should have had that number on me.
That's all right.
It's probably around
ballpark.
2,500, 3,000.
Okay,
It's in
so
there
it's a
somewhere.
good size, very good size.
But a lot more people read it than there are people that just kind of float on it and read it all day. So there's a little thing on the bottom that'll tell you how many people have been on it in 24
just
hours.
hits, the 24-hour hits.
Yeah, and the forum itself is it's usually anywhere between 500 and 1,000 people a day that are on it.
And you're talking about a community that's under 50,000, so if you have
Yeah.
500 to 1,000, you've hit a big chunk.
The website itself gets between 30, usually it's about 35, but between 30 and 40,000 unique hits a month happen.
A month?
A month.
Oh, Lord.
And if with Google AdWords and that kind of stuff, you can see where they're coming from. About half of that is local, and the other half is day trip.
Okay, people looking for something to do on Kent Island this Saturday.
Annapolis.
Thunder on the Narrows or whatever.
Yeah. Annapolis, Baltimore, Northern Virginia, Pennsylvania, East.
So you're serving the local community and the transit community, so to speak.
And that's kind of when I started deciding that I was going to try and sell ads on this thing. I was like, well, what do I have that, besides being a local angle for people, for business, what do I have that somebody else doesn't have? Right. And that was it. We have reach off of the island, and inexpensive reach that goes as far as anybody.
What is reach off? Explain that to me.
No, reach meaning that somebody in Scranton, Pennsylvania is
right.
where we're going to go check out the Chesapeake Bay. Let's go to Kentmore. Something like that.
All right, okay. We're now crystal balling. Where do you see this thing? Is this going to be? I mean, I still haven't figured out when you sleep. If you got a 4-year-old, you haven't got a regular schedule to begin with.
I got about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night is my average.
And you can survive on it. You're a better man than I am.
I'm on like 2-second delay. If you notice, when you ask me questions, sometimes I'm like.
All right, but if we took the crystal ball, where do you want this? Where do you want the site? I mean, do you want to grow, or are there going to be some offshoots of it, or what do you like to do?
Yeah, I'd like to grow it a little bit. I'd like to get it a little more autopilot for obvious reasons. Where if you have a business, you can just put it on there without me having to physically do it. That kind of stuff. Right. Just because time is short with me. But I'd like to expanding into Centerville. I'd like to just do all the 3 towns around Graceville, Kent Island area, and just kind of own that. I also it needs a redesign. It redesigned it about 2 years ago, and the way things go now, it's funny.
It's due. You got to be switching. Yeah,
and the funny thing is, when I first started it was 1,000,000 miles long, one big long page, and that was you don't do that anymore. You don't do that. You make it much. Well, now it's gone back to that because people are reading websites on their cell phones, and they do this.
Just scroll without.
It's better now to be. I should have just left it alone.
Yeah, it's like length of dresses or anything else.
Yeah, they don't like going through 8 million links. They just want to have it all in one. So it's the next Kent Island Online version 3 will be back to where it was in version 1, pretty much. So.
And I know we at QAC TV said we really appreciate it. You show our stuff. I think it's in the lower right hand. I forget the physical where it is.
It's on the news page.
Yeah, and we really appreciate it. By the way, just go over what are all the different pages, so to speak, you have.
Well, we got a partnership with WNAV Radio in Annapolis. I used to work there a million years ago, and I know them.
Terry Alley and
Steve Hopp, and Bill Lusby, and all those guys. So I've got a news partnership with them. So they update my news.
So they're sharing local news or local?
It's Annapolis. They're an Annapolis-based station, but people here still care about Annapolis.
Sure.
So it's some Eastern Shore, some Annapolis, but it's basically whatever pops up on their page just automatically pops up on ours. It's an RSS thing. So we've got that on our news page. I've got Sheriff Hoffman's.
His show?
His show. It's
Most
awesome.
Wanted.
Most Wanted. The Queen Anne's Most Wanted is great.
The guy should be on national TV just because of that show. It's fun.
The Valentine's Day was classic.
Yeah, it is good.
But so I've got that on there. And
there were a lot of sweethearts that got arrested after that show, unfortunately.
But yeah, that's on the news page, and then the weather and stuff like that. And there's the forums, and there's going to say there's 12 rooms maybe on the forums. There's a generic
Education,
one.
is there a school thing yet, or is that something you're going to do?
There's a school page, but it's just a listings page. If you guys want to take
We're
control
going
of
to
that,
get you in
be my
touch with
guest.
Jeff Straight, seriously, the
Sure.
PR guy over there. I bet he'd love to sit down and talk with you.
Yeah, I mean, schools, government, nonprofit, anything like that can do whatever they want on it. You know,
Okay.
the initial thing for that website was basically to help out the area. It was basically, it's anything you guys want to put on there, have at it.
And I just want you to know, every time we were down yesterday with, I don't know whether you know, two characters, Bill Denny and Nick Hoxter. These are two
I know those
82-year-old men.
Yeah.
They're walking history books of Ken Island.
Yeah, he writes books.
Yes,
that's right.
And
That's
he
why.
talked about Ken Island Online. Where,
Did
this an 82-year-old guy says, hey, I got my information from Ken Island Online. All right, thank you, Nick.
Was it correct?
Well, look at the couple of minutes we have left. Let's do this. Let's remind everybody it's Ken Island Online.
Yep.
If I'm a business, you
Uh-huh.
encourage them to contact you. You sell space available for their advertising.
There's different tiers. There's category banners, and the reason for having a banner instead of a general listing is if someone's scrolling, now especially now with a phone, if they're scrolling through, your banner's going to catch your eye as opposed to all the ones underneath. That's basically what it is.
Non-profits, you'd love to have information from them about what they're doing, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it easy? They can just literally type it on, or
Well, they have to send it to me because we
got to check it
Yeah,
out,
you
of
got to check
course.
it, and then I'll just post it for them. Turn it
Okay.
around. I usually turn everything around in 24 hours.
And those people who have a gripe, all right?
Hey, go to the forum.
Yeah, go to the forum. You encourage it. And
I do. The forum's fun.
Some people tell me at 11 o'clock at night there's nothing better to do to sit down with their favorite beverage and go to your forum. I don't know if that speaks about our county or what, but it sounds like you're
No, I
doing
completely understand that too.
Okay.
So we've also got Facebook. So the Facebook side is the difference between a forum and Facebook.
Sure.
At first, I was kind of a little late on the Facebook because I was like, well, we already have a forum; it's going to compete against itself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't because Facebook, your name's on it. It's here I am Rich Fisher, and here's what I'm saying. The forum is aliases,
Yeah,
so
sure.
you don't really know. I mean, I do. I can tell what most of them are, but
Sure.
but no one else does. So they kind of get that internet like this is what I
Oh,
think,
know,
and
I know.
more than you'd ever
They think
get.
they're safe. They think they're
Yeah.
safe. But Facebook, there's a picture with a little grandchild
Yeah,
next to
exactly.
him. Be nice, Papa. Just as we finish up again, what is the hot topic on the forum now? I have a feeling I know, probably the shelter or something. But
Yeah, the shelter is a biggie, and also the Mears Point construction that's going to start happening.
okay.
Was the most. I saw that one this morning. That started blowing up.
So the shelter has been the big one in Mears Point. It changes on a weekly basis,
Daily basis,
Depends which
really.
way the wind's blowing. Right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the week. This is 4th of July weekend coming up, so it'll be slow. There probably won't be a lot of stuff on it,
Okay.
other than the fireworks were great or the fireworks weren't great.
That's right. If it rains the 4th, we're all going to get beat up. And if the traffic's bad, we're in good
Oh
shape.
yeah, that's the other. Yeah, the traffic is a biggie. That's what. Yeah.
Well, Rich, look, thank you. I'm still amazed. I still want to know how you get by on that many hours sleep. But I do want to say thank you, because R&R, my favorite radio stations, I've had a nervous breakdown. I think you did since this fall, because every morning, and you've put a little sanity into the morning programs. I appreciate that. All right.
Thank you. I
And next
appreciate
time you see President Obama on a link or something, just say, "Hey, Fred said hello."
it. Fred says hey.
I'm Fred McNeil. You've been watching QAC TV 7. We've had Rich Fisher. And let me recommend people from all over the county. Go to his Ken Island Online website. It tells you where to eat, and also tells you the hot issues, maybe a little random gossip occasionally, all right, but it's a lot of fun, and the important thing is you learn more about your community. And if you have something you want to bring up, they'd be delighted to have you. Well, your 4-year-old, say hello to her. I know that's a full-time job, so
Thank you,
and
sir.
please stay with R&R, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is Fred McNeil. Thanks again for watching TV7. My time's up. Thank you for your time. We're going to see you next time.